Hey! Welcome to math class. My name is Mr. Sliger here at Syringa Middle School. Today we're going to be talking about the parts of a power. We're going to actually talk about all the properties of exponents. But I thought we probably should start just by reviewing the parts of a power and what they mean. But the big number is called the base, and the base is the number that's going to be getting multiplied. And then the exponent is telling you how many times to multiply the base. So in this case, 5 is our base, 5. 3 times, 5, 5, 5. The most common mistake is kids that get in a hurry, they'll go 5 to the third and they'll say 15. That makes me want to scream and pull my hair out. You can see that I've had quite a few kids, say 5 to the third is 15. It's not, it's 125. But those are the parts of a power. So now we're going to go into the four properties of exponents. Okay, in your notes, you're going to want to be writing these. These are the exponent properties. The first one we're going to talk about is the product of powers. It's when you're multiplying two powers together, and when you look at them, you notice that their bases are the same. When the bases are the same, you get to use a shortcut. And this shortcut, rather than having to write the whole thing out like this, I saw some kids doing that and I thought, man, I would way rather be lazy. I'd rather learn my rule of when the bases are the same and you're multiplying, bases are the same and you're multiplying, leave the base the same and add the exponent. You get the same answer with way less work. So 5 to the third times 5 squared is 5 to the fifth. That's the first rule. Product of powers. The bases are the same and you're multiplying. Leave the base and add the exponents. Rule number 1. Rule number 2. Quotient of powers. If when you're dealing with multiplication, you added the exponents, well, this would make sense then that if you're dividing and the bases are the same and you're dividing, you're going to leave the base the same, just like you did before, but you're going to subtract the exponents. So leave the base the same and subtract. So let's see what that looks like. 4 to the fifth divided by 4 to the second. Here's another way to write that. Sometimes kids get confused that, oh, this one's a fraction, it's not division. Fractions are division. So either way you write it, it's division. Now, if you didn't know the rule, you'd be doing it longhand and canceling them out. And that makes me sad because that's way too much work. Let's learn the rules and know that we leave the base the same and subtract the exponents. So if the bases are the same and you're dividing, leave the base the same and subtract the exponents. That's rule number 2. Rule number 3. Power of a power. So I've got a power and I'm raising it to another power. So I've got 5 squared and I'm cubing it. If I wrote it out longhand, it would look like this. And then I'd take each one of those squareds and still makes me sad to not know the rules. So if you're doing a power of a power, then you leave the base and you multiply the exponents. So 5 squared cubed, 5, 2 times 3, 5 to the sixth. Leave the base the same, multiply the exponents. When I'm writing these out, I want to be able to find the examples really easily in my notes, and then the if-then statements. So if I can find, I'm like, oh, how do I start this? Then I look for the example picture. I find the one that kind of matches what I'm doing, and then I go to the if-then statements and solve it. So as you're writing these, try to stay organized and make these easy to find. We've got one more. The last one we're going to talk about is the power of a product. Now, a power of a product, I've got 2 things that I'm multiplying. Are the bases the same? So when I'm multiplying and the bases are different, multiplying and the bases are different, but the exponent's the same. So the bases are different, but the exponent's the same. We're going to multiply the bases and leave the exponent the same. So in this example, 5 squared times 6 squared becomes 5 times 6 squared, 30 squared. Some teachers are going to want you, in some cases, to leave them separate like this, so a times b to the 5th. But in this case, since they're both numbers, we can just go ahead and multiply 5 times 6 and get 30. So, product of powers, quotient of powers, power of a power, power of a product. Those are our first 4 exponent properties that we're going to work on. Next we'll be doing, I think, what happens if your exponent is negative, and what happens if it's 0. Stay tuned.